Welcome to Fix It Home Improvement, covering projects that every homeowner should know and great products for home and garden.
Hi, I'm JC, and this is where we share weekly home improvement tips. I'm here with my co-host Cindy.
Hello, JC.
Hi, Cindy. Today we're going to be talking about handheld vacuums, and we'd like to thank Mark Baldwin for liking and sharing the podcast. The first successful handheld vacuum was the Dustbuster by Black & Decker, and they released that in January of 1979, and it was cordless. It used a nickel-cadmium battery. It was about 14 inches long, and the storage bracket could be hung on the wall.
Right. And
the charging station was built in. You plugged it into an outlet.
So everybody think about a handheld vac.
Right.
And that's what the Dustbuster is.
So their first year, they sold over 1 million units. Is that amazing?
It is amazing.
So the battery and the motor were a spin-off from a cordless drill that they designed for NASA for the moon landings, and they used that same technology and created the Dustbuster. So in the Smithsonian Museum, you can see Thomas Edison's first light bulb, the Hope Diamond, the Wright brothers' 1903 original plane, the Flyer,
right,
and you can see the 1979 Dustbuster. When you're shopping for handheld vacuums, think about all the projects that you're going to be using this for. Some of the handheld vacuums come with a stick design, and those are more versatile, so you can use it like an upright vacuum for your carpets and your floors and then convert it to a handheld vac.
Which a couple years ago, my sister bought my mom one of these.
Okay.
With the stick.
Right.
And it's like the best gift we ever got her, because my grandma lives with them and she's kind of a slob.
Right.
So every day
Nice.
After she goes to bed, my dad comes out and sweeps up after her.
So right around where she was sitting.
Right, yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess. So, yeah.
So if you only plan on using a handheld vacuum for your car, you can get a model that plugs into the 12-volt socket in the car, and that way it's just handy for that specifically. When you're comparing car models, I would look for the longest cord and the best group of accessories, especially with the narrow nozzles for all the small places in a car. Some of the styles with a big, wide mouth.
Right, doesn't fit anywhere.
Right, it's going to be ineffective. With handheld vacs, you can get corded or cordless, and with the corded vacs, you're going to have unlimited run time, usually more power, and you're going to see cords anywhere from 12 to 25 feet, so that's nice to compare when you're shopping. Longer is going to be more convenient. And with the corded, you're not going to have to replace the battery down the road. And with many of these models, when the battery's at the end of its life, you're probably going to end up getting a new vac.
Right.
Because a lot of the batteries are expensive. And then cords can be an inconvenience if you're using your vacuum outside to clean the car or workshop or shed. And without...
Right, because just use a shop vac. Or a wet dry vac, sorry. Romex.
There's a lot of nice, in fact, with those heavy-duty shop vac styles, a lot of them are kind of high amps. So you can get like a 12-amp model. And if you're getting something heavy-duty like that, you want to make sure that you're using an extension cord that's matched to the amps or higher. Otherwise, you can shorten the life of the motor.
Right.
And then some of these styles are going to come with beater brushes for getting up pet hair and dirt from carpet or furniture. With the cordless handheld vacs, they're great. You can go anywhere. You're not limited by the cord length or constantly having to find an outlet to plug in, but you're limited by the battery life.
Bummer.
And 10 to 30 minutes runtime is the most common. And when you're looking at some of these, you might see the rated battery life when you're comparing models. So if you see amp hours or capital A, small h, and amp hour is the total charge a battery gives in 1 hour under a specific load. So this is going to vary with the speed you're using the tool at, the load you're putting it under. So an easy way to think about amp hours is just the charge capacity, and the higher the number, the longer your run time is going to be. But if you see 1 amp hour, it's not going to last an hour.
Why do they say that?
It's weird. It's a whole formula. So on a lot of these manufacturers, what you're going to see is battery life in hours, and you're going to usually see it in a fraction. You'll see like 0.2 or 0.167, which you have to multiply by 60 minutes. So if you see 0.2, it's going to run about 12 minutes. If you see 0.167, you're going to get about 10 minutes of runtime.
So why can't they just list that? 10 minutes runtime instead
You know,
of 0.167.
you go to high school and you wonder, why? This is why. So you can figure this kind of stuff out, Cindy.
Aye.
I would look at the charge time.
Me too.
If you plan on using your vacuum a lot, it can be anywhere from 4 to 8 hours on some of these vacuums. And then the types of batteries, you're going to have nickel cadmium or lithium ion. Those are the two most common. Lithium ion is the newer battery technology. It's lighter, very powerful, and they run at full power till they're depleted. A little more expensive, but the prices are coming down. And you want to recharge your battery after every use to get the longest life out of it. When you're disposing of rechargeable batteries from an old hand vac, you can go to call2recycle.org. So it's CALL, the number 2, recycle.org. And they have the largest battery recycling program in the U.S. So you're just going to enter in your zip code, and they're going to tell you the closest place to recycle those batteries. And with the cordless models, the higher voltage in general is going to have better suction. And many of these pros are suggesting 16 volt or higher. But what's interesting is voltage really doesn't have anything to do with suction because it's just how much energy it's using. So I was on a few of these home center and major retailer sites. I was trying to find different models with either sealed pressure or airflow ratings so I could compare the suction, and I didn't find any. So when we talked about wet dry vacs on that podcast, we said sealed pressure of 60 or more is what you're looking for, or airflow or CFM of 90 or more. And that was an easy way to compare the suction, so the higher the better. And then because I couldn't find much on these retail sites, I went to the home pages of some of the top rated vacuums. And what I found on some of them, and not all of them, was air watts.
What's that?
So that's another multiplier. But the top rated ranged from 22 to 35, and some of the stick styles went up to 100 watts. So what you're looking for is, if you can find that rating, compare that, and the higher the better. What I found was 22 to 35. Up to 100. Attachments and hoses are going to make it easier to get up dirt and debris out of corners and tight areas. Crevice tools, upholstery brushes, dusting brushes make it a more versatile tool. So, the more accessories, I think it makes it, just a better vacuum. Most of the handheld vacuums are going to be bagless, although you can get vacuums with bags, like the Dirt Devil Ultra corded model. And vac bags are going to keep the filters cleaner and less dust when emptying. And when you're comparing models, look at the capacity of the Dirt Cup. Larger is going to be more convenient for big projects. And a clear cup is nice because you can monitor how much is in it.
Right.
Cyclonic vacuums use centrifugal force to slam the dirt against the side of the Dirt Cup so it drops straight down and away from the filters.
You sound very excited about
which is
that.
pretty cool. And then they're also some of the highest rated for people with allergies. Look at the type of filters the vacuum uses. You can get washable, rinsable, or disposable. Washable filters can be washed with soap and water, and they're going to last the longest. Rinsable should only be rinsed off with running water. Disposable filters can be shaken off, or you can use canned air to blow them off. And many of these companies are recommending replacing the disposable filters at least once a year for the best performance. With the washable and rinsable, they're eventually going to need to be replaced, but some of them are going to last a very long time. And then you want to make sure if you're washing or rinsing that you let them air dry for at least 24 hours before putting them back in the vacuum. And that way you're going to, you want to avoid mold and mildew.
Right.
If you have allergies, you want to get a vac with a HEPA filter, HEPA, and that's going to take 99.97% of all the allergens out of the air.
That's a lot.
So HEPA stands for High Efficiency Particulate Air Filter.
Everybody knows that.
The noise level is a consideration if you're using your vacuum a lot, and it's recommended to wear hearing protection for any tool that's over 85 decibels.
So you're vacuuming wearing hearing protection?
Yes, absolutely. Well, what's funny is now a lot of the medical professionals are recommending putting earplugs in your kitchen and wearing them every time you use a blender, a vacuum, a lawnmower, leaf blowers, or any other tools over 85 decibels. Well, they say this noise-induced hearing loss is really a big problem now.
Okay, so that's not funny.
So these small sensory hair cells in the inner ear get banged around and damaged from continuous exposure to loud sound. And if you get too much exposure, those hair cells die. And in humans, their hair cells will not grow back, so that hearing loss is permanent. The National Institute on Deafness says about 15% of Americans 20 to 69 have noise-induced hearing loss that's preventable.
Wow.
So if you just wear earplugs whenever you're using a tool around 85 decibels or higher, you're going to keep your hearing much longer.
Which I hope all of our listeners do.
If you have pets, attachments with beater brushes and pet hair attachments are going to make it easier to get up the hair.
Mm-hmm.
A HEPA filter or a carbon HEPA filter is good to get up the pet dander, especially if you have allergies. And pet dander, this is microscopic flakes of skin, saliva, and urine that end up on your furniture, your carpets.
That's gross.
What's crazy is dogs like to roll in urine and feces to cover up their scent, or they think it smells better. So researchers
Those are stupid.
So researchers think that this is normal behavior for many species, either masking their odor so they can sneak up on prey or giving clues to the rest of the group to where they've been. So when they're rolling and
Wow,
stuff.
we go off the rails here.
Researchers found that wolves will roll in the remains of animal carcasses or the droppings of plant-eating animals to cover up their scent so that they can hunt more efficiently.
This is all really gross, JC.
So get a HEPA filter if you have a dog.
Yeah.
Another thing you want to think about is the warranty. Many are going to be around 2 years, and then keep the receipt. If they have a registration process, make sure you fill that out or mail it in. If you register, it's going to be much easier to get replacement parts or a refund.
Right.
And then companies are now using this to send out notifications of recalls, or if a product has something that potentially could be dangerous, it's nice to register. And with some of these products, they're going to give you an extended warranty period if you register. So I would say that, it's nice to do on an expensive product. I've got some top-rated hand vacs and some of the features. Mm-hmm. So Black & Decker, they've got a few different styles of the Dust Buster. The Black & Decker Dust Buster CHV1510. This is a 15-volt cordless style. It's 3 pounds. Takes about 13 hours to charge. Mm-hmm. It has a cloth reusable filter and a plastic pre-filter, and the company says the cloth filters last about 9 months if you're using it regularly. It has a very slim nozzle, and it has a built-in flip-up brush tool. It has a crevice tool that extends off the nozzle, so it's kind of built in, so it's nice. And then the nozzle actually rotates. So it's pretty interesting. It's cyclonic, and it has a 2-year warranty, and it's 16 air watts. And it has a 12-minute runtime.
No way.
Black & Decker has the PET cordless lithium-ion Smart Tech handheld, and so this is a wide nozzle style, so it looks like a basic dust buster. Mm-hmm. It has this motorized beater brush that attaches to the front of it.
Right.
It has scented pre-filters for pet dander. It's 33 air watts, and you can adjust the suction to carpet and fabric or bare floors. It has a power boost button. It's a cyclonic style, so it's going to keep the filters cleaner longer, and it's only a 4-hour charge. And in that Smart Tech line, they also have a stick style.
Well, it's a 2-in-1.
Right, so it's a stick vacuum, and then this handheld is in the center of it,
right,
and you can just detach it and use it as a handheld.
Right.
Black & Decker also has the 20-volt max lithium pivot. So this has a long, wide nozzle that actually pivots. Mm-hmm. It's cyclonic. It has a 3-stage filter system, a flip-up brush, and a crevice tool. Only takes 4 hours to charge. You get 15 minutes of run time, 35 air watts, and a 2-year warranty. The Dirt Devil Classic 100 is a handheld vac. It's corded. It has a 20-foot cord. It's 7 amps. It has a beater brush. It's bagless. It has a HEPA filter. It has a 5-piece tool set. So you get a hose, a wand, a brush, a crevice tool, and an upholstery tool. This one weighs about 6 pounds, and it has a 3-year warranty. Bissell has the pet hair eraser. It's corded. It has a 16-foot cord. The nozzle is one of those wide styles, and you can either have the hard end or you can attach this flexible rubber end for stairs and upholstery. Mm-hmm. It's 4 amps, cyclonic. This one weighs about 5 pounds. It has a dirt cup, so it's bagless, and this has a 1-year warranty. The Eureka Easy Clean Corded has a 20-foot cord. It's 5 amps. It has a motorized beater brush, washable filters, and the hose has a bunch of attachments. And what's cool is that hose wraps on the body when it's not in use.
That's nice.
It has a dust cup, weighs about 5 pounds, and has a 1-year warranty. Rigid has a 3-gallon handheld wet dry vac. So Rigid, R-I-D-G-I-D. This has a 10-foot cord. It's 7 amps. Weighs about 10 pounds.
So
And,
it's supersized?
well, this is more like a wet dry vac, but it's handheld.
Right.
It almost looks like a gas can.
Oh, okay.
It
yeah,
has
you
the
showed this
pleated
to me.
filters, but it is mobile enough if you're looking for something more heavy duty. And what's
Right.
interesting
So maybe
about
in your garage or car.
right, but it's light enough where you can carry this anywhere, and it has 168 air watts and a full lifetime warranty.
Oh, that's nice.
Black & Decker had another one that was highly rated, the Max Lithium Flex Vac. So this is 20 volts, and it's pretty interesting to look at. It has a circular body with this 4-foot flexible hose that wraps around and ends up being the nozzle in
Oh,
front.
yeah, you showed this to me too.
So it's pretty interesting. It has attachments, a 3-stage filtration system, washable filters. It only takes 4 hours to charge. It's 24 air watts, and it has a 2-year warranty. The Dyson Handheld Cordless V6 is lithium ion. It has an extension hose, a crevice tool, a brush, beater brush. It's cyclonic. It has a dust bin, weighs about 3 pounds. This has a 20-minute run time. On max, you get 100 air watts, about a 3.5-hour charge time, and this was rated very high by many reviewers. It has a washable lifetime filter and a 2-year warranty. The Shark Cordless Pet Perfect is 18 volts. They use a nickel metal hydride battery. It's cyclonic. Comes with a crevice tool, a brush, a beater brush. Weighs about 5 pounds. It has a dust cup, about 6 hours to charge it, 10-minute run time, and a 1-year warranty. And there's a few different styles of this Shark Pet. Bissell has the multi-cordless handheld vac. The model number is 1985. And this has a commercial-grade lithium-ion battery, 22 volts. It has a bunch of attachments, and they're stored on board. It has LED lights, a motorized beater brush. It has a flex hose, extension wands. It has dusters. Weighs about 4 pounds. It's a 2-stage filter. Has a 2-year warranty and takes about 4 hours to charge. I thought it was interesting, the variety of features when you start comparing the models.
Yeah, because you need to get the one that's right for your needs.
Right,
Because
exactly.
if you don't have a pet, you shouldn't get one with pet features.
Right.
Or like I use mine all the time around the litter box
Right.
because they make such a mess.
Yeah. So and it's convenient rather than taking out the standard vacuum. It's heavy,
Right.
Especially if you have a corded one or canister style. This
Right.
just makes it convenient for little small messes.
Do you have anything else to add?
I would look at the air watts for the best suction, your run time, charge time, and the warranty. And then if you have dogs and pet dander, a HEPA filter.
Let's wrap this up.
You can subscribe to our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, the Spotify mobile app, the Google Play Music app, and iHeartRadio.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a review.
You can check out our home improvement videos on our YouTube channel, Fix It Home Improvement.
And you can subscribe to that as well.
You can download our books, Home Improvement Solutions, What Every Homeowner Should Know, on Amazon.
If you enjoyed it, please leave us a 5-star rating and review.
You can email us at fixitpodcast@gmail.com. You can talk to Cindy on Twitter at FixItCohost.
Thank you for listening.
Talk to you next week.